It wasn't anything extravagant, but it was mine. Quiet, calm, a place where my thoughts could finally settle. I took some unpaid leave from work, needing time and space to sort through everything that had come crashing down. When my phone lit up with messages from Leah or Kayla, I didn't open them. I wasn't ready. I didn't want explanations or guilt-laced apologies. I needed silence more than closure. Then, one afternoon, an envelope appeared in my mailbox. Handwritten. From Kayla. Inside, her letter was raw. She said she never meant to hurt me, that her words weren't planned. She was angry, confused. She explained that Leah had confessed the truth about Darren during an argument and made it sound like I would have rejected her if I'd known. I was scared, she wrote. Scared that if I wasn't yours by blood, you wouldn't want me. So I pushed you away before you could leave first. I wish I hadn't. I wanted to believe her. God, I really did. But before I could respond, another letter arrived. This one from a law firm, delivered by registered mail. Subpoena. Leah was taking me to court. Not for child support. That chapter had closed. This time she was demanding alimony, spousal support. Her claim. That I'd been the primary provider throughout our marriage, and that she'd sacrificed career growth for the sake of our family. I stared at the document. First I laughed. Then the pain hit and I cried. She'd lied. She did. Let me raise a child who wasn't biologically mine. Kept the truth hidden for 17 years. And now she wanted financial compensation. I sat down with my attorney. Let her come, I said quietly. I want this fought in court. I want the truth on record. The trial wasn't long, but it drained me. Emotionally brutal. I submitted the DNA test results, outlined the timeline of events, and my lawyer dissected Leah's claims with pinpoint precision. Under questioning, Leah's version of the story crumbled. She insisted she hadn't known Darren was the father until recently, but then admitted she'd suspected it for years. She claimed she was afraid to tell me the truth. But during the discovery process, my lawyer subpoenaed her old work emails, even the personal ones. And there it was. Years of sporadic contact between her and Darren. Birthday greetings. Casual updates. One email in particular sealed her fate. Kayla's eyes look more like yours every year. That was it. The final blow. The judge didn't just deny her request for spousal support. He openly criticized her for her deceit and manipulation. I left the courtroom feeling like I'd walked through a battlefield and somehow made it out alive. But peace didn't last long. 2 months later, I was reading in a quiet cafe when a man approached me. Tall, clean-shaven, visibly anxious. "Are you Michael?" he asked. He nodded. "I'm Darren." I set my book down. He looked uneasy, like he wanted to be anywhere else. "I didn't know," he blurted. "About Kayla. Leah never told me she might be mine." I stared at him. "Why are you here?" He hesitated. "She came to my office last week. With Kayla. Said it was time I took responsibility. That I needed to be part of her life." I almost dropped my coffee. "She's trying to hand her off to you now?" "Yes." He nodded sheepishly. "I told her I'd think about it," he continued. "But honestly, I don't want to be a father to someone I've never met. I don't even know if I believe her. But I figured you should know." I thanked him and walked out. Not because I was angry, but because something inside me broke again, this time in a different way. Leah hadn't changed. She wasn't sorry. She was just reusing the same story, recycling the same lies for a new audience. Few weeks after that, Kayla texted me one last time. "He doesn't want anything to do with me." I thought he'd care. I didn't respond immediately. When I finally did, I wrote, "Now you see. I cared when I didn't have to. I was there before I ever knew the truth. And when the truth came out, you pushed me away. You spit on the love I gave without conditions. Being a father isn't about DNA. It's about commitment. You chose blood over loyalty. That was your choice." She never replied. It's been 8 months now. Leah lost her job not long after the trial ended. Word had spread. Reputation matters in her industry. And her secrets weren't so secret anymore. Darren cut all ties with her. I heard she tried threatening him with a paternity lawsuit, but he wasn't having it. Kayla ended up deferring her college admission. Rumor has it she's staying with a friend for now. As for me, I spent 2 months in Italy. Learned how to make pasta the right way. Started writing again, something I hadn't done in years. And I met someone. Her name is Elaine. She knows everything, every messy detail. And she listens without flinching, without judgment. Her son is 5. Sweet kid. I don't know what the future holds, and I'm okay with that. But one thing I know for sure, I will never again let guilt be used as a leash. Because the moment Kayla looked me in the eye and sneered, "He's not even my real dad," something in me shifted. I realized that love, when freely given, must be respected, or it gets locked away. And mine is no longer up for sacrifice.
"17 years ago, my wife had a one-night stand with someone from her office. I didn't know, not until our daughter, at least the girl I thought was my daughter, threw the truth at my face like it meant nothing. He's not even my real dad. That sentence was the match that burned it all down. I read it. I'm 46 now. What I'm about to share unraveled just a few months ago. But the roots of it stretch all the way back to when I was 29 and thought I had everything I ever wanted. Her name was Leah. We both worked at a small publishing company in Chicago. I was in marketing. She handled HR. She had the spark. Clever, quick-witted, and charismatic in a way that made everything seem a little more alive. I was drawn to her instantly, completely. Within a year, we were married. It didn't take long before she told me she was expecting. I was over the moon. I can still remember twirling her around our tiny living room, laughing like a kid, promising her and that unborn child that I'd be the best dad I could possibly be. We named her Kayla. From the moment she was born, Kayla became the center of my world. I was there for every milestone. I clapped loudest at her school plays, bandaged every scrape, stayed up with her when she had the flu, and took her out for ice cream whenever life disappointed her. Fatherhood wasn't just a title for me. It was my purpose. What I didn't know was that the same year Leah and I got married, she briefly hooked up with Darren, a guy from finance. Just a fling, she told herself. A moment of poor judgment she buried so deep she convinced herself it never happened. She never told a soul. And life moved on, or so I believed. Like any long marriage, ours had its bumps. Arguments about finances. Fights about how late she always stayed at work. Stress from deadlines and bills. When Kayla was 10, we even separated briefly, just to get space. But we always came back together, maybe because I kept pulling us back. I was always the one trying to fix what cracked. Then came Kayla's 17th birthday. She'd just been accepted to Northwestern. I'd been setting aside money since she was in grade school, canceled trips, picked up extra shifts, anything to make sure she never had to worry about tuition. That day was supposed to be full of pride, of celebration. Instead, everything shattered. She was laughing with friends, and I walked over with a birthday card in hand. I didn't expect to hear anything serious. But then she said it loud, snide, like she wanted me to hear it. He's not even my real dad anyway. The world stopped. She looked right at me and said it again, this time slowly. You're not my biological father. Darren is. Mom told me everything. I felt like the ground gave out beneath me. I couldn't move. Just stood there holding that stupid birthday card, while her friend stood frozen, unsure of what to say. I turned to Leah. She looked like a ghost, white, ashamed, but she said nothing, not one word. I left, got in my car, and just drove. I didn't know where. I couldn't feel my hands. I couldn't hear anything but that sentence echoing in my mind. 17 years. 17 years of love, of effort, of sacrifice. And this was how it ended. Leah had kept that secret buried, never once given me the chance to face the truth or decide how I wanted to deal with it. She chose silence. She chose lies. I spent that night alone in the dark, remembering everything. Kayla's first steps, her first bike ride, her college essays we worked on together. I had poured everything into raising her, and now it all felt meaningless. The next morning, Leah came to talk. She said it was a mistake, that Darren had meant nothing, that she didn't even know who the father was until recently. I asked her one